Hello everyone, Giltar here with part 2 of my action figure review of the Transformers Alternity Bumble Champion Yellow action figure. Now in this part I'll be going over the process of transforming it from vehicle mode or alt mode into robot mode. And once again, I have Legends Bumblebee here as a reference point. Now for everybody who's a little confused about why I keep referring to this toy as Bumble, the reason being is that this is the Japanese version of Bumble, or Bumblebee rather. In Japan they call the character Bumble. Just like in America they call Optimus Prime, in Japan they call the character Convoy. So I refer to this character as Bumble because this is the Japanese action figure version of the character. So starting off with vehicle mode, there's a couple of different ways you can start things off. The way I'm going to show you guys, to be honest, this really isn't meant to be a tutorial or a guide for how to transform it. I'm just showing you guys how I transform it, and I'd like to note a few points along the way to help anybody who has ever had any problems with transforming this figure, or who plans on buying this figure at some point and may want to get a sort of step ahead in sort of finding out about how you actually go about turning this from a car to a robot. So the first thing I would do, to be honest, before anything else, is there's a little tab or flap at the back of, or the bottom of the figure, which goes down. Now you might not be able to make it out here, but there's a little button that can be depressed basically, and there's a peg here on this flap. So if you flip it down, it actually enables a part of the transformation process. It unlocks a mechanism in the sort of waist area of the figure. If you don't do this first, and if you leave that out, you're gonna have some really difficult times pulling the figure apart at a certain point, and you might even cause a breakage. Now I don't know if you guys caught that, but the front section here just popped loose, and that is due to activating this trigger mechanism. Now the next part I would do is just lift the hood up, flip up the faux or fake engine block to free a part. Now inside here there are two guns or pistol accessories which actually have tabs that serve to lock the engine block in place, and I really do like that design point. I'll just say this right now, the designers of Alternity Bumble really made a great use of all the different parts. Pretty much everything serves some sort of purpose in the design of this figure, and to me that's very impressive. So I've unlocked the front section here, again by lifting up the faux or fake engine block. So the front section's popped out slightly. It's freed basically. So the next thing I would do is basically free up the hood or the hatch of the car, and that'll free up this section here, which basically is the rear section of the car, and you can actually move that down now. And you can hear some clicking because of ratcheting joint components, and you can see here Bumble or Bumblebee's face, which is kind of covered up by this panel here, and actually you'll see the Autobot symbol or Cybertron symbol there. So you can see it's partly transformed. You gotta have his head peeking out here and the car partly disassembled. The next thing I would do is that with the hood freed up, you can actually just free the legs here and just pull them forward. Now the first time you do it there's a little resistance, and I don't know if you guys heard that click, but that meant something locked into place, and what that does is it allows me to fold down the faux or fake engine onto a sort of a tab or a peg rather here on the sort of pelvis section, and that locks it into place. Now when you pull it out normally, again, you're going to hear that small click, and you'll feel something lock into place into the figure, and that means it's ready to clip on this fake engine block, and then you just fold down the hood like that. Now there's a couple different ways you can go from here, but I'm just going to continue on with the legs. And they basically, you just fold them forward, and what you can do is just basically free the legs, and each leg has a side for the foot section, and what you can do is just, you're going to have to basically unfold the pieces here, and there's a lot of joints at play when you're doing this, and you basically have to unlock a couple of different things. Now one thing is that there's a bit of sort of automorph or sort of automated articulation that goes on when you're folding the shin forward. There's two pieces. There's one in the sort of shin proper, then there's one in the sort of lower shin area, and when you fold the leg forward, I don't know if you can make this out, but there's a click when things are secured. And when you hear that click, that means the leg is actually locked. If you don't lock that in place, the lower leg will be very floppy and it won't be secure. Similarly, there's a triple joint here in the upper leg. There's two joints in the thigh, and there's one joint for the knee. Be sure that you secure the thigh joints and make them straight out, and they'll lock into place. If you have them sort of unlocked, they'll be really flimsy and floppy, and you will wonder why your Bumble figure is not stable when standing up. It's because you don't have the thigh joints locked. You should only, of these three, only the bottom joint for the knee should be moving usually when you're posing the figure. The top two joints here in the thighs should be locked into place and basically straight out like this. So I'm just going to repeat the procedure here for this leg. And again, I'm folding everything out, and rather than hearing, I'm really more feeling for the click for things locking into place. Once I feel them lock into place, then I know that everything's secure and ready to go. Now you're going to hear at the swivel joint at the thigh, it's a ratchet joint, so you're going to hear some ratcheting sounds. Now the front of the sort of grill of the car actually folds in, and basically you complete the foot structure. And again, I'm making sure that I'm straightening out the thigh joints so that they're secure and locked in place. So now I've got the legs all basically transformed. The next thing I'm going to do is basically work on the upper body. At the back of the car here, and actually let me just move my camera up. I realize that my camera is a little low, and I do apologize for that. I'm going to move it up a little bit. But at the back of the car here, basically you just separate the sides, and they swivel out like this. And they're going to form the shoulders and arms of Bumble. So what you can do, what I like to do, is actually just sort of flip out the arm, sort of rotate it down like that, and at the same time rotate the back of the car, which becomes back of the forearm armor piece, and then flip down the wrist, or hand rather, and then you turn to the front, and basically you just continue to rotate the arm, and then you have one arm there. Now again, I realize that I'm probably not being very descriptive in my transformation here. I do apologize. This isn't meant to be an instructional sort of part of my video. This is really just to show you guys how to do it in a way. So again, I'm just rotating things out, flipping things out, and I'm just continuing to rotate the upper and upper arm at the shoulder and the lower arm at the elbow and wrist. And again, we've got the shoulders and the arms. Now finally, I'll just flip back this section of the vehicle. And actually, I made a mistake there. You actually have to flip up the rear doors first, which kind of become wings, and then you flip up the rear section. And then we have Bumblebee, or Bumble here. Now there are a few things I'd like to straighten out, like the back of the hood. I'd like to sort of flip it to make it sort of connect to the lower back, to make it more of a cohesive component of the body. The wings I'd like to just sort of straighten out just a little bit. You're going to fold down the back seats of the car here just to make them sort of flush. And also you're going to flip down the ears of Bumble to complete the sort of traditional design of the G1 or Generation 1 horn head design. Now there are a few other things I could do, like straighten out the knees just a little bit. And again, I'm straightening out the knees, not the thigh joints, because the thigh joints again should be locked into place to keep them secure. One thing to note here is that you have these yellow knee components, knee pads, which are made of metal. For some reason, the right leg here, or Bumble's left leg, the knee component can move out quite well, but on the left leg here, or its right leg, it's blocked by this piece of plastic here. So I don't know if it's like a molding error or something like that, but there you go. You guys might find the same problem. If you do, don't be alarmed. It's not a big deal. It doesn't interfere with posability or articulation, so if you don't mind a slightly asymmetrical look to the knee pads, if you don't mind that, you're fine. If you do mind that, then you might be in a bit of a pinch, because it's a $50 figure almost, and I don't know if you want to go through the hassle of getting it replaced just because of a knee pad. Now another thing to note here is that there are these pistols, or I think like Venom or Chrono Venom Stingers basically is what they're called. Where did that gun go? It just popped off. Oh, it's right here. Silly me. These guns just sort of peg into like the inner calf area, and then they do actually have articulation. You swing out the pistol grips like that, and they're like this. So I really like this. Traditionally, Bumblebee or Bumble usually uses a little maybe pistol, or not really a rifle, but almost like a small carbine in the Transformers cartoons. So it's really nice seeing Bumblebee, or Bumble, I keep saying one or the other, get some armaments. And I like this because previous to this, Convoy didn't get any armaments except for built-in ones on his arms. And Megatron did get swords, but again, he didn't get any guns. So it's nice seeing a Transformers figure in the Alternity line finally get pistols, and they just fit into the hands here. There's a kind of a hole, and you just put the pistol in place, and there you go. So that basically concludes the transformation scheme of the figure. I'll be back in part 3 to go over articulation and maybe some other details of the robot mode. So once again, thank you very much for watching up to this point. I hope you guys enjoyed the review so far, and I'll be back in part 3 with articulation.